Hello and welcome once again to Breakfast All Day. I am Christy and that is Matt and that is Alonzo. Now we're talking about a movie you can watch on Netflix, the comedy slash thriller. It's a lot of things. It's called The Lovebirds and it stars Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani. Alonzo.
Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't have night in the title since it's kind of like date night and it's kind of like game night, but you know, it's its own thing. Sure, why not? So yeah, Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani star as a couple. We first see them like when they have just spent the night together for the first time and are clearly both trying to be cool about it, but clearly don't want to leave, like they're still having a great time together. And then we jump cut to 4 years later and they are on each other's last nerve and they're heading to a party and she thinks that he's too buttoned down and unspontaneous, and he thinks that she is too obsessed with social media and not serious about serious things. Then they get into an accident where they accidentally hit somebody with their car, which begins a crazy chain of events that gets them involved with crooked cops and blackmailing senators and upper class eyes wide shut style sex clubs, and of course over the course of the evening discover what it is that they liked about each other in the first place.
This is cute and fun sometimes. And I really like each of these people individually. I like their chemistry together. I like the mere casting of them, right?
Yeah.
It's in some ways kind of revolutionary, but also they treat it with just effortless grace and like, of course, we're a couple. At the same time, they also acknowledge what life is like in the world to be a couple that looks like they look, and and the realism of how they expect the police will treat them because of it, and that dictates a lot of their decisions along the way. So it kind of finds a nice balance in that regard. I laughed here and there, but it just ultimately doesn't really add up to a whole lot. And I didn't feel like there was all that much at stake. Like it's a hard balance to be like, it's a comedy, but it's also like an action thriller. I think it's stronger on the comedy than the action thriller part of it. I never really felt any sense of suspense or tension. I knew they'd be fine and they would get out of it. And so I wasn't perhaps as invested in it as they were hoping I would be. Michael Showalter directed this, who also directed Kumail Nanjiani's The Big Sick. And that was also a tricky thing to pull off, but they did better. That was a trickier balance of emotions and tones, and they got it right there because it's a comedy about somebody who's in a coma. and that sounds on paper really, really difficult to pull off, but they did. And here, this is very similar to other movies that we have seen. It's a lot like date night, right? Mild-mannered couple goes out on a crazy night and they get in deep with some bad people, but it's all played for laughs. I don't know. It felt uneasy to me quite frequently.
I'm in the minority here. This might be my favorite Michael Showalter film to date because I didn't love The Big Sick the way a lot of people did. I thought it was fine, and I liked Kumail Nanjiani in it a lot. And I thought, did I? There was something I liked. I liked Holly Hunter and Ray Romano a lot in that movie, actually. But yeah, this one, you're right. It's not perfect, and the stakes maybe aren't as tense as they could be. But I saw somebody on Twitter compare this to My Little Chickadee, which is not a particularly good movie, but Mae West and W.C. Fields are so much fun to watch together that it sort of carries you through the movie. And Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani are so much fun to watch together. They carried me through the movie. I laughed pretty consistently, and I was entertained by it. Like this was supposed to premiere at South by Southwest. It was supposed to get a theatrical release. I think maybe Netflix is just the right size for it because it is not entirely successful at what it wants to do, but for the expectations of I'm watching this at home and I like these people, I was never not entertained by it, even though I was certainly aware that it could have been more of a lot of things. But Issa Rae is such a fucking movie star. I mean, between this and The Photograph, it's like she's just got that thing that the camera loves and wants to see more of, and that draws you in. And I think
that 1,000-watt smile that she has,
totally. And I think Nanjiani, as we've seen, like can be good in the right thing and can be terrible in the wrong thing, like Stuber or whatever. But I think this movie plays to his strengths well. And I think, yeah, you're right, Chrissy. The two of them as a couple are always fun to watch.
I think because they're both so likable, like you want more from this movie.
Sure.
Right? The expectations are super high because they're both so likable and have such great charisma individually. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I would watch another one of these with them. If we were to go on and see more, if we got a sequel, I would be okay with that. I think it does benefit from being a Netflix where, not only is the movie's plot have low stakes, but the barrier of entry to watching the movie is relatively low stakes.
Right.
But their chemistry is terrific. And I think that chemistry between the two of them, especially the way they both kind of do their like pithy, or not pithy, but like offhanded, like they'll keep going on a subject in kind of a quiet way, but it's thoughtful and it's smart. It's not, rather than like big, broad reaction jokes, they'll say the things that people would think, and they both do that. And you totally buy that they have been a couple for a long time. That opening scene, they're very cute together. You understand why they're sniping at each other later in the movie. And when they find things out about each other, some movies, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, for instance, when they find stuff out about each other, this one, like, it's a surprise and it works, not that it doesn't in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but when they talk about things that, I didn't know you were into that. I think that works really well here.
They underplay it in a way that feels organic.
Yeah. This is super fun. I will say, as I watched this and Body Cam in the same day, which do somewhat cover some similar territory as far as like, what people of color have to worry about with police reactions.
In Louisiana.
Both in Louisiana.
Yes.
And I couldn't help but think like, man, what kind of crazy shit is going on over in Swinton while this is happening?
Right. Is it worth it for the tax breaks? I don't think so.
Right. I don't know. Anyway, I had a good time in this movie. Yes, it slows down. There's some points that it's like, when, they break into the bicyclist's room, spoiler alert. Sorry. There's some places like it meanders in places and you're kind of like,
and also it's like, there are moments where you're like, okay, wait, this is New Orleans, and I'm seeing people with like the bracelets or the necklaces, and I'm like, is Mardi Gras happening? And if Mardi Gras is happening, why are these bars not
you
much
don't need,
more
You don't
full?
need Mardi Gras anymore. No,
it's year-round. If you're a tourist in New Orleans, you get beads and you drink those big-ass drinks.
Oh, no, I know about the drinks, but okay.
This is another straight life thing. Gotcha. People were pointing out when I mentioned this is another straight life thing. You no longer need to be at Mardi Gras to earn beads for flashing.
You don't have to even earn those beads. You can just go and buy those beads.
Oh, boo.
Right? If you want to just look festive and have giant beads, no one's throwing them. You can just get them.
Oh, anyway.
Well, that's no fun.
I was charmed. Yeah, I would watch these two again, whether it was a sequel to this or just like in something else entirely. But I think as a comedic duo, as a romantic / comedic duo, they're terrific.
Okay. What's your number then?
What did I say?
You said you and Matt both said...
I said 7.5.
7.5, yes. And
I wrote my scores down today.
I do that sometimes. I forgot.
I'm saying 5.9. I'm lower on it than you guys are. So our number is a 7.
You don't believe in love.
I do believe in love, and I believe in love for them. And because I believe in love so strongly, I want a better film for them.
You wanted to love...
I do.
The lovebirds.
I do. But you guys are right.
Like, you like the birds.
If you're bored, just like sitting around at home and you're flipping through Netflix, like, I haven't watched The Lovebirds yet. Like, it's a fine time. It's like an hour and a half.
If you've already seen the half of it and Crip Camp and Tiger Tail, the Lovebirds is fun. You'll enjoy it, and it's a good, what you would call a hang movie. It's a good chill out. It's funny and it's charming, and you'll have a good time. So thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on the social media at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We'll be recapping TV shows like Hulu's Mrs. America and The Great. We've got a monthly classic that our subscribers pick for us, and lots of other fun stuff. So check that out. Thanks, you guys. Have a good week. We'll see you later.
Bye.